Okay, good evening, Leela.
Hello.
And we call you by the full name, Leelavathi.
I'm good with Leela.
Lovely. So, welcome to Leaders in Library Season 2. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you. Thank you so much for inviting Rajiv.
Oh, pleasure, pleasure. So, before we get started and talk about the book that you have chosen, it's a very interesting book, and I'm happy to say that not one leader had picked this book in Season 1. Neither anybody has done till now. So, exclusive book picked by you. Lovely one. Before we get into that, let me have the honor of introducing you to the audience. All right.
Yes.
So, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whichever part of the world you are going to be listening to the lady guest of the day. Welcome to Leaders and Libraries. All of you were part of season 1, and you saw 33 leaders coming and talking about 22 powerful books. And season 2, we have 40 leaders coming and talking about 40 exclusive powerful books. And we have yet another guest for the day. And what's interesting is she wrote to me on LinkedIn, complimenting and expressing interest on what we did in Leaders and Library Season 1 and wanted to be part of that. That was very interesting. Not many leaders approach an interesting concept and seek a request for participating. That was very, very interesting, Leela. So thank you so much for doing that. And today we have Leelavathi Naidu, Vice President Compliance with Avendus Capital Private Limited. She is a compliance person, which means the go-to person for any kind of
Yes.
legal law compliance. In case you do something from your office cabin, you're straight into the behind the bars. She'll send you there. Right? A very seasoned person from the space of legal industry, has worked with multiple organizations, primarily been in the financial industry, and I've spent some time with the financial industry earlier, so there's a connect with her on that space. And she's also a book lover. But what was interesting when I spoke to her first is I have not seen a legal person, public compliance person being very energetic that she was. Sorry, other legal people don't get offended from what I'm saying, but normally we don't get to see such people. But that way she was very, very different. And what was interesting is she is also an avid book lover like me. And thank you so much, Leela, for accepting the invitation and coming on board. Welcome.
Thank you, Rajiv, for accepting my invitation and bringing me on board. I'm excited and looking forward for this conversation.
Pleasure, pleasure. It's been a lovely one. So, before we get started on this particular book and touch upon a couple of things that the author is talking about, tell us, Leela, how did your association with books start? How early was it? Were you a schoolgirl? Were you a teen? Were you post-teen? When did it start?
I would say quite late, Rajiv. It's quite early. In the initial stages, I had my own, in a relationship, you have your own ups, downs, battles. I had my own struggle with the books also. I come from a family where my parents never went to school. So I would be talking to me about storytelling or bedtime stories and obviously in English. So English was an alien language. You could see me very blank when people used to speak English in school. So the result was I was faring very badly, all B's, C's, red marks in my papers, and my parents worried what's going to happen. She is scraping through school. But slowly, steadily, as I picked up, I took help of teachers and all. Slowly, steadily, I started enjoying reading, and that was a result that my papers and my studies also started getting better and better. And my interest moved to storybooks also.
Okay.
So I started from Tinkle, Amar Chitra Katha. I would be 9 or 10 year old,
Right.
and I would read anything that my hands could lay on because accessibility obviously was an issue at that time. So I would just borrow from a lot of people.
Right.
I used to go to college and school. So the end was I used to read in Hindi, English, Marathi all my time. And being a very shy and an introvert person, I usually never used to go out and hang out a lot with my friends and be at home. So the only soulmate that I had in my life were books. So you can call me. I used to read. I upgraded to novels immediately. I think it would be 11, 12-year-old, but reading all the books in the world which I was having my hands on. So
Wow. That's pretty early to get into novels, huh?
Yes, I was reading autobiographies, and my father used to get books, secondhand books, and he used to, whatever the Radiwala used to give me, he used to pack up and bring him. He never had that choice. He never used to understand what a kid should read. So at the end, I would read everything that came to me, and thankfully, because of which I upgraded, I used to take help of dictionaries and all to bring that up. But I think that's been very helpful because by the time I was in college, I was actually my confidence level from a shy and an introvert because of reading those books, which can be Abdul Kalam's biography or Annie Frank or a lot of self-help books from Stephen Covey that used to come at that. I think he was the only author who used to write self-help books. It helped me a lot, Rajiv, during my growing up age. So I think the association is become like an old wine. With age, you keep on changing your taste for books. But I think it's been going on good, steady, fast. So I think it's quite late. I should have started when at around 8. But
very nice. Very nice. So I'm very curious to ask you this. You said you're a shy kid, a little introvert. And how do books play that role of opening up an individual? How did it happen to you? I mean, asking this question to help many introverts and shy kids who would listen to you, or shy young leaders who want to do, but they're still holding on. That could be a good input from your side. How do books play that role?
So Rajiv, books open up a different plethora. So it's not that you're the only shy and introvert person in the world. There are a lot of people and a lot of leaders, I must say, Rajiv, who are introverts. And that's a very big attribute to an introvert because an introvert is a good listener.
True.
That's a very important role as a leader, that you should listen. So once you have that listening habit, you tend to also play on different. So what are the other factors that a leader needs? You need somebody who can speak confidently.
Right.
You need somebody who's a subject matter, an expert on subject. All this comes over a period of time. When you read, your world opens up. You're not the only one. There are a lot of people who have worked on those and have moved on ahead. So you also have to work on it. And there are a lot of tips and possibilities that somebody is writing. Just work on it. Just implement it. And the moment you do it once, Raji, it begins. The story begins there. Like, continue to move. Your confidence level gets better and better. I still remember the first speech that I gave in my school. My hands and my legs were sweating. And I was shaking to introduce myself. And today, at least I can have that confidence. I can say myself confident. Who knew the answer but couldn't raise a hand in school, to a person who coaches people, okay, give me an opportunity. I want to do this. So that comes over a period of time. And I think books, they have been my best friends all my life. And I think that's the simple things. It may happen that there may be 100 tips in a book. You wouldn't accept it. But those 2-3 tips continue and you keep on working on it. It just builds on.
Lovely. I mean, this is a very interesting perspective, that when you read books and the characters where you see certain introvert character or a shy character, you relate to that character so much, and you see that character just bloomed and become such a great personality. And today there's a book on him or her. You realize, if that person could do it, why can't I? Right? That's a great journey.
And that's real life. It's not a fiction. It's not a fiction. It's a true example. So it makes a lot of difference in your life because you connect with those people.
Lovely, lovely. All the people who are introverts are a little shy. This is not a negative attribute at all. I think great learning that you should get from what the lady is saying. It is just a style that each of you have, and books can definitely play a very significant role. I'm somebody who's an example for this, because I have a very close friend of mine who's a leadership coach, and he is India's only introvert leadership coach. He helps individuals to come out of introvertism and become a little more confident person. That doesn't mean introverts are less confident, but there are different ways in which you can start expressing your confidence. So guys, please go to books. That can be a great opener for you to make you more confident, and put that hand up and say, can I answer now in your meeting, right? Thank you, Leela. That's a lovely one. Tell me that journey when it started and you moved on. How did it help you to grow in your leadership career? And today you're a vice president compliance. You're sitting at a position where you have the balcony view of the entire organization. You see things from a top side, right? And you take decisions which have a direct impact on the top line and the bottom line of the organization. How did books play that role in moving you up?
This way, as I said, initially I had my own struggle in school to pick up English as a language itself. So one thing that I did was slowly and steadily reading. It brought me a lot of perseverance, which is what I call as an inner strength.
Right.
Let go of things very easily. That might be a very Taurian trait as well, but you don't let go of things so easily just because it's difficult. You start churning out. It's not happening. Let's do it. Let's do it twice. Let's do it thrice. Let's do it 4 times. But you continue to hit on that nail like a woodpecker. If you think you are a leader and if you think you want to make a dent in this world, be consistent in what you're doing. Which means the
Correct.
finesse of becoming a better person day by day, day by day. It just opens up that box for you because books come from thousands of authors who have got experiences, who
True.
have again thousands of books that have been filtered into a 600-page book for you.
Correct.
That's a well that you should deep dive over it. I think perseverance is one thing as a leader that I have picked it up. Second is the confidence level, because as I said, you cannot be perfect when it comes to confidence. It's very
Yeah.
few people to just go into a conference room and share their cards and start having a conversation. For people like me who just imagine I stand and the world sings me in. People, we introverts think when we enter into a conference room and everybody. So that's where it stands up. You before you get into the entrance room, you are like, I can do it. I can do it. And this is what a books, it gives you a lot of tips and measures that I would say to work on that, where speaking to somebody is not a do and die situation. It is a
Yeah.
way to opening a wall to another person. You
Right.
improve skills, you improve your conversation skills. You have few people coming and talking to you on different topics. It world full of other angles to a story which you would not have explored before. Two things that I have picked up from books is the perseverance and confidence level.
Beautiful. That's so lovely articulated. Yes. I like the woodpecker thing that you said, being at it consistently and continuously kind of makes you a person who's ready to be at it every time and every occasion, right? And you don't want to drop the ball at all at any cost.
Absolutely, because as a compliance person, as you told, there's a lot of cost, which is a reputation cost for my organization, which is a regulatory cost for my organization, and then at the end of the day, it's your own brand value, what you bring.
Yeah.
If you want to be known as a good compliance officer, you should hold on. You are like the gatekeeper for this organization, where
Correct.
you don't want any negative thing coming inside, neither going outside. So it's a huge responsibility. Might be the position might be smaller as compared to a CEO and CFO, but the responsibility is huge in terms of reputation of an organization.
Sure.
And you wouldn't want to lose it at any cost. So I think that's, I take it as a hugely responsible. I don't know how other people take it. For other people, it would be like she is a gate stopper. She stops everything that I put in for approval. But for me, it's a responsibility. I with a lot of and prestige, so I wouldn't want to let go.
Absolutely, especially in the current world where things can go any side, and we know enough and more stories we have in the financial industry that we have spoken about. Money has just gone out of the country. If they had not gone out, probably would have been a richer nation that we are.
Yes.
People like you are ensuring that more money doesn't just fly off the nation, right? I think it's definitely a very, very responsible thing. Larger, if you kind of bring it out of the organization, you're actually doing a nation building work because you're holding on to the money inside India.
Yeah. And rather top it up, it is not our money. It's the investors' money who have a lot of faith and trust. The moment a trust can be built just once. So I trust people, but I do checks. So it's very important that you continue to do so. It's absolutely a fiduciary responsibility where you're answerable to the investors. So sometimes you actually get very stressed when there are projects which are high risk projects and you don't want to approve of it, because at the end of the day you're answerable to people whose it can be a hard-earned money. I have had so many investors who are coming to us saying that I had saved it, I got affected by cancer, give my money back. I have my child who's going outside, I have saved the money, give me back. So those instances, you do not want to take that baggage and sleep in the night. So it's important that you do your job properly.
Lovely, lovely. Superb, superb. So let's get into the book. Stillness is the Key by Rayan Holiday. So why this book of all the books that you picked up, Leela?
I can hear you, Raju. Yeah.
Yeah. So what made you pick this book?
Rajiv, when you said it's a leadership event, I thought I may have to pick up a management book or a strategic book which talks about how to run a business, how to run. But at the end of the day, I was thinking I am neither of those. I am a person who is very normal person who does a job and is growing every day and is improving herself. So leadership is all about ownership. I my life, I came out of the place where I was here and I'm moving day by day ahead. I'm also helping people who want to move ahead with me. It can be your juniors, it can be your colleagues.
Right.
So what makes a person individual and what makes a person leader? It is the form of choice. You choose what you want to become, and you leave a good mark on the people who are around you. And I think this book talks about many of those requirements. The book is split into three portions. It works on your mind, it talks about your body, and also talks about a soul. I have hardly read any non-philosophical book which talks about soul. So mind and body, usually people talk about yoga, meditation and all, but this is one thing which touches your heart, because there's one aspect in that which is healing of an inner child. So that's a very important, and I connect to it. And this book stayed with me. I read this book during the COVID times, and it has stayed with me for longer. It's sometimes my go-to book when I want to just pick up one chapter and read it, because if I'm struggling through some particular aspect in my life.
Lovely.
So I thought it's a more relevant book that I would want to talk on, because strategies in business, there are a lot of business people who will come. Let me talk on something that I feel connected
Absolutely.
to.
I mean, that makes so much sense, because this is your show, Leela. This is your book. So a book that connected with you, which made an impact in your life, is what people would want to listen to. But you can pick up a blue ocean strategy, pick up any other book and talk about. There are many who will want to talk about, and I have a leader who's going to talk about that also. But the fact is, this book was very close to you. It had the pages of the book, words written in the book, has had some impact in your life, and it's worthwhile listening to that. Lovely. So let's touch upon a couple of things that Anne is talking in this book. I'm going to start with the first one. She talks about the fact of becoming present, and that's a very powerful way the book starts off. It takes you through the next pages. How do you interpret this in your life, and why do you see this as very important?
I'll give an example, Rajiv. In our day-to-day life, we keep on attending meetings. We have a lot of calls that keeps on going on. How many times have you seen everybody who's in a meeting looking at each other and thinking deeply about this thing? 70% of people will be either attending to the WhatsApp calls, either side chatting on their emails. It's not about being present. It's about being present. So it's very important that whenever there is, and it impacts all aspects of your life. So basically, when you are in a conversation with someone or you're doing something and you try to think that multitasking is a very important aspect of a person's life, but the productivity reduces by 40%. That's the research which shows that.
Okay.
So it's important that whenever you do something, there are a lot of multiple apps which have come into picture, which helps you focus on what you are doing. But being present essentially means giving all of yours, and it involves a lot, because when you say that I am present, it involves your mind to be present, not only your body, but also with all your soul, because if your mind is here and you're thinking about what is happening at the home, what is happening in some other cabin, what's happening around, that's not being present at all. It's very important. I have seen many leaders, when you are in a conversation with someone, people end up doing this. So it's the greatest disrespect for the person who's sitting in front of you.
Beautiful.
When you give your presence, you honor that person with your time and your commitment. That's very important as a leader, because leadership is all about how you make the other person feel.
Correct.
It's not about how you're utilizing your time and what decisions are you taking. It is how to make that person. So I have met so many leaders. I've had the pleasure of meeting Mr. Tata, such a humble person. And to him, for the 2 seconds, he leaves a mark in your life, because he listens to you. He looks into your eyes, deep into your eyes. And when you have that conversation, so it makes you feel very honored. He may not even remember my name, but it makes you feel honored, Rajiv. So I think being present as a leader is the most important thing that a leader has to get cultivated, so that the people whom he works with also feel they're involved and the leader is involved. It's not about you being here. A leader is somebody who walks along with the people. So I think that's a very, very important aspect that Rand has touched upon. There are a lot of examples that he has given, which is very important. You have Mr. Kennedy, who was being present and he was listening to people.
Yeah.
But at the same time, he was trying to understand how to figure out a solution. So he ensured that his people feel involved. At the same time, he was thinking 3,000 feet above as to how see the entire picture with all the contributions that people have been giving, and at the same time respect them for their decisions also. So it's very important. I think that's a very important aspect as a leader.
Very well. I think what I liked in what you said is that's the disrespect you give to the other person. That's a very powerful statement, Leela, because when you listen to people, one of the fundamental behaviors of listening is looking at the person and talking. Not looking at the person is the first mark of disrespect that you can give to the other person.
Absolutely.
And people don't get it, right? And this is so fundamentally important. Forget about transformation leadership and big jargon that you talk about. This is enough.
And Rajiv, this works in your personal life also. For example, friend, you're sitting with your kid, specifically, which can be very frustrating some point in time.
Yeah, yeah.
The moment you listen to him, they cultivate the habit of talking to you, of
Correct.
conversing with you, and that goes in a long relationship. You
True.
see a junior and you listen to them, they have the habit of bringing their problems to you, not when it is not in a controllable situation, but when they think something is not right. So you build a communication channel as a leader, and that is important as a leader.
Yeah,
Open up
yeah.
the channel for your mentor.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think if you, as you rightly said, if you take a little up, it's not the fact that they see you as somebody who's listening. They experience you as somebody who's respecting them. That is what brings them
Yes.
back to you again and again.
Yes.
Beautiful. Lovely. Lovely. So I'm going to take you to the next one, which is very interesting. And I don't know if I can make the statement here, but barring few people who have this habit, I think our father's generation were better journalists than what we are.
Yes.
I can talk about my father. My father is 76. Even now, when he has to travel, you will definitely see him the previous evening sitting on his dining table with a paper and a pen and noting down a list of items that needs to go inside his suitcase for travel. And he will tick it and ensure everything is gone. He'll put his socks, tick. He'll put his kerchief, he'll tick. And ensure that he's been doing this for so many years and everything is there that he needs. In our case, we sometimes go there, we find the shoe, socks is not there. We find the socks, shoes not there. I think journaling has been a great habit for them, which seems to have got missed out in the world of technology, though there are so many apps. How do you see this so important, Leela, and how has it helped you?
Yes, Rajiv. So, Rajiv, I am just like your father. You call me old school. I don't mind being called old school, but still
Oh,
I
that's a
do that.
great habit, yeah?
So I ensure I can't live without. So I'm a very organized person in terms of my, when you look at the way I do my stuff, but journaling, keeping that. So a lot of people have that to-do list, which is very common for people who go to work to have that to-do list so they don't remember it. But I picked up journaling when I read Anne Frank's book at the age of 13. And that's the age when I also started doing journaling, initially in a notebook. So initially, there are a lot of people, there are a lot of ways people may do journaling. One is people capture the day-to-day events. I got up, I did this, ABC, whatever happened in the day. There's another way of doing journaling is, which is called reflecting. So I have stacks of journals where I have two journals usually I maintain. One is, as I said, being a shy person, I don't express myself very well to people. So I tend to write. If I'm angry, I may write like everything that I want to talk about and stack it up and close it. I don't read that book. I don't open that book again till the time I have something else to say. But if I'm very happy and I want to jump, but because that's my nature as a compliance person, I can't jump around because I'm happy. So you tend to write and express your feelings about it. That's one way of doing. The other way is to reflect what are your goals. Dissect your goals into long term, medium term, short term. It is 10 year, 5 year, 4 year. And then again dissecting it. What are the, for example, you can dissect your book into your passion, your work profession, and your personal skill set. For example, in one of the personal skill set, I had written down that I will participate in more public speaking events so that I work and hone on that skill, because confidence comes to you when you keep on doing it again and again, not once you have done some point in time.
True.
Part and parcel is you keep on writing that you want to do this, you want to do this, you go back, reflect. And that's a reflective diary that every week you should sit, go through it once again and reflect on it. Where have you scored? Because every year people get up in the morning of 1st of January and make a list of 10 goals, which just doesn't open up all the year now. That's not how you become a better human being. You do not become a better human being, as I said, the woodpecker example, just by doing it once, twice, or thrice. Constantly work on it till the time it becomes habit and till the time it's registered in your subconscious mind. How things have to work. This is how things go ahead. And habits are a part of your goals, because decide when you want to work out. Your body doesn't remain active the entire day. There are phases of a person's life. So, example, if you're a night person, you're very active during the end of the day. I'm an early morning person. I'm very active in the early part of the day. So journaling, working out, meditation, and doing the deep thinking comes to me in the initial part of
Early
it.
morning.
So that's the time when you should think, because that is the foundation for whatever you do during the day. It's not about replying to mails, getting up and starting on Instagrams or Facebooks. It is the time when you think deeply. And this is when you don't have any disturbances from outside, when you do not have chaos outside, Rajiv, you go inside of you.
Correct.
important part of journaling because that requires a lot of stillness in your mind to
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
what you want, think what you want to achieve. It can be personal, professional, minute things, and once you do it, you start reflecting. For example, you dress up, you look into the mirror. The same way, your entire year has gone by, and you haven't even reflected how did the year go by. It just went by, and another year went by, another year went by, and you will be old, and we will be in coffins. But what have you achieved over a period of time? That's very important. So I think journaling plays a very, very important role in that.
Lovely.
And
So you've been doing this for many years now, Leela?
from the age of 13, and I've been doing it consistently.
Do you still hold those journals with you?
Absolutely, I have hoards and hoards, and my parents have been saying me, please take this to your mother-in-law's place. We are short of space over in Bombay.
The recent ones, do you revisit them anytime?
So the gold diary, Rajiv, I visit for the last 1 year.
Uh-huh.
I close my diaries on 31st and start on 1st. So I spend some time and rewrite my goals. So we don't have to visit it because whatever you have done over a period of time, you just need to carry it forward. It's like your balance sheet. You don't have to go back to the older ones. But go back and read those diaries sometimes when you have time. I find it very funny. Like, what have I written and what have I done? I think those instances have played a good role and a major role in my life.
Absolutely.
So I've absolutely picked up one attribute in me which was lacking, and I've worked on it, steadily. But some point in time, it's been there consistently in the diary. So whenever you look at your diary and see this is not done, you know you have to do it.
Yeah.
So it's a reminder, and the research also shows that when you write your goals, there are 30 to 40% more chances of achieving it. So
Okay.
because when you write, it gets imprinted into your subconscious mind, as I said. So is very, very important. As a leader, I think it's very important. And many leaders that I have known, they do
go
back and reflect.
Right. But I agree with that. And somewhere I think journaling with the physical format of a pen and a paper is far better than a stylus and a mobile.
Yes.
Because when you write it, it's very interesting. So I do that, and I do that using ink pen. So I still use an ink pen. So I love using that in writing. So it's even more interesting. Beautiful.
Yes, absolutely. And given me a choice, I would love to give people diaries. I tend to do that because other people get into used to habit of
Good one. That's a good one, actually. Beautiful. So as we move with what the author is talking about, he talks about something very interesting is seeking wisdom. It's a very common phrase, all of us know it, nothing new, right? How do you interpret this from what the author is saying in this book? From the perspective of stillness is key for us. And stillness is stillness of mind, right?
Yes.
Which is what the author is saying. How is the seeking wisdom such an important bit? How are they connected?
Yes. So in this case, Rajiv, I'll just bring out one instance. When I was leading one of my organization, one of my ex-boss told me, Leela, what you don't know more important than what you know. Because when you know what you don't know, you know how you have to build over it. You know when to ask help.
Correct.
And do not blindly take decisions. You know the blind spot in your life.
True.
So it's very important. Seeking wisdom is not about knowledge and technical knowledge that it's talking about. Seeking wisdom is about the holistic knowledge about what are the different aspects in your life that are missing. It can be spiritual, it can be physical, it can be mental as well, the way the author touches it upon. So wisdom is about, okay, you know your mind is wandering again and again. Seeking wisdom as to what is it that is disturbing it.
Yeah.
For example, you have a physical ailment. Understand what is the root cause of it, and taking help from people so that you can do it. So seeking wisdom is all about knowing yourself more, wanting to know more, asking questions. So it talks about a lot of examples where Socrates has been doing that. So used to go and keep on asking people questions. People used to always behave that he doesn't know, and it's very important because when a lot of people have an arrogancy that I know many things, so you better talk, you listen. But a lot of times when you know technically you are much better, but holistically also you understand that situation, that's when as a leader, if you see, they're very humble. They might be knowing stuff. It's not that they don't know. They tend to listen to you. That is wisdom. Please understand that there may be something which you may be missing, and there is an angle coming to it, this little lady. So I think that is wisdom all about. And leadership, as I said, it's about listening. Wisdom also acts as a part of it where you tend to listen, and that is wisdom, knowing that you may not know some stuff. You cannot know everything. So it's very important to keep on looking for wisdom, and however small or big a person is. So it happens that your person is just given an exam and is fresh on those studies, and you have given your exam 10 years back. There may be a certain angle which you would have missed some point in time. So it's very important to listen to people.
I know, and I completely agree to that. Yes, seriously, many years back when I met a cousin's son. That's when he told me, "You don't have 10 planets anymore. The Pluto's no more a planet." I said, "Yeah, seriously,
Exactly.
when did they move it out? I never knew that." No, no, he calls me, and I said, "Anna, you didn't know that. This has gone out of the list long time back." He said, "Acha, seriously, I
Yes,
didn't know."
absolutely agree. And that's wisdom.
Seriously, I mean, I was like, straight there, I went and Googled. There is, yeah, Pluto बहुत साल पहले निकल गया. I said, shit, I didn't know it. I never had to study Pluto anyway. So,
Really.
true, true. So interesting and lovely, lovely. I mean, this is very interesting because what you said makes a lot of sense. This is not about seeking knowledge and becoming skillful, right? It's about the curiosity to know more that you don't know. But for that, the first step is you accept that you don't know. That's such a humbling behavior, right? Not many leaders would be able to display that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, beautiful. And it settles down a lot of things in the head, right? So I think that's where the stillness also comes
Stillness
in.
is all about, yes.
Yeah, that wandering that you said kind of gets arrested.
So the terminology that Rand uses in this book is called emotional tranquility. So
Mm.
about is you have high levels of energy.
Mm.
Are peaking, which makes you a very
True.
optimistic and positive person. But at the same time, you're grounded. You are 3,000 feet down because that is
Mm.
what it is all about. Your
Yeah.
energy level and your groundness, when it matches, makes you a good leader because you see the whole.
Mm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Correct. Larger picture is visible.
Yes.
Beautiful, beautiful. Lovely. So as things settle down, we still have something jumping inside us. The child is still there inside us. He talks about the very beautiful concept of healing the inner child. It sounds a little philosophical, but for the young leaders, could you make it simpler and bring it from a corporate-ish
Yes. Absolutely.
meaning? What is the author trying to say? How should the
Absolutely.
young leaders interpret this healing the inner child?
Okay, I will. So the book has an example of Tiger Woods, how he became successful, how his father was tormenting him, and when he became very successful, he still had that wound inside of his father not treating him well, not treating his mother well. I will relate it to my example. So as a because I was not doing very well at school, you tend to be mimicked, you tend to be not treated well by your teachers because you're a poor child, you had
Right.
tuition, your teacher is constantly saying you're a poor child, you need to study more, you need to work hard, you cannot
Correct.
work and play. Imagine that child
Mm.
taking that portion of confidence level from the child every day.
Absolutely.
The child gets into a nutshell. And many people, if you see when you meet Rajiv in your day-to-day life, there are a lot of
Mm.
people who are good, bad, either good with colleagues or bad with their juniors or
Mm.
everyone as usual. General, there are few attitudes in a person which, for example, there might be some amount of insecurity.
True.
All those things are not because that's the nature of the person, but there's something deep inside which is not healing from them. So many times when there are a lot of instances when I have pushed into a zone where I am not comfortable, sometimes that inner child
Mm.
just grabs me back and I can't open my mouth. And
Ah.
it just holds you.
Oh.
Confidence level takes a setback because that is your inner child who knows that, okay, you can't do this well. Your confidence level has a lot of shaking up. So same way with a lot of people, Rajiv, in real life, when you meet, it may happen that wound, which may not be very visible to you, but they do have a small, for example, some instance would have happened where a person would have been bullied in school. That
Mm.
is remained deep into his mind. That's the reason that person can be highly insecure about opening or coming out of nutshell,
Possible.
talking. It may happen that the parents have not treated the child when he was always alone. That may happen that because of which when your juniors want to go out and party, you may not be feeling very happy because you never had that childhood where
Yeah.
and celebrate your kid's birthday and you can't talk, you can't fathom that somebody else is going and celebrating your birthday.
There's a fight happening inside, isn't it?
Yes, and you don't realize it because you don't think deep, why am I doing that?
Mm.
And we tend to always see the outward behavior of a person and
Correct.
okay, this person is rude, but we should not be judgmental about it. When I read this, I could relate so to my life that
Mm.
some point in time, the behaviors that I have been doing over a period of time, for example,
Mm.
I asked to do something and I have been like choosing to stay back is because of this one particular aspect of my life where I've been again and again told that you're dumb or you are a poor kid who can't study. So that thing stays in your mind subconsciously. It's not
Beautiful.
at all, and you don't understand it. But so it's very important that you understand the other aspect of human being. As a leader, you may all the thumbs are not the same as your parents always say to you. You meet different types of people from different generations who have supportive family, who have had very tough life. So people who come from a very tough background, they have seen the worst side of life and the better side of life. So they sometimes continue to hold on to some things and they have slight insecurity when you see them because they think it may go from their life. Not the nature. It's just that it's the upbringing and the child who has seen the tough part of life and doesn't know whether it will continue for a long time or not in their life. So they will hold on to it. And you will see this person is highly insecure. So it's all those little attributes in a person who stays back in their life subconsciously. It's not conscious at all. They deliberately don't do it, but it's just their nature. So you have to let go and forgive those people. And as a leader, understand them. Understand why is that person doing this. Take those decisions because as a leader, you have to run a huge organization.
Yeah.
Judgmental about people and categorize people into different segments. They all come from different backgrounds. They all come from different ambitions and different perceptions about life. So it's just you as a leader keep on mentoring them to move ahead in their life and come out of their insecurities.
I think it's a beautiful way because if you don't do that, right, it's so much of jumping happening inside, right?
Yes.
And then that much of jumping happening inside, how are you going to see things with clarity and take decisions and contribute?
Absolutely.
And then what you said also made sense, that because somebody said in the past that you can't do this, that's still running in your head, which is not a fact at all.
Yes.
Yet sometimes that child just comes out and pulls you like a gravity saying, no, this is something you can't do. Hold on. You got hit by your teachers many years back, scolded by your parent, no, don't take the effort.
Yes.
This is so difficult for the individual, but somebody was able to fight that and come out, right? It's like the rocket that fights that gravity and just zooms out space, right?
So Rajiv is very important then when you speak to a kid. That's the most growing important stage of a person's life. You put into the child's brain that somebody's perception about you doesn't have to become your reality at all. Very important. You may fail in a particular subject. So I was fantastic in drawing and sketching. I used to get A's, stopping the class, but that was never acclaimed. So it always gives a comparison between what is right and what is wrong. Today, those are one of my hobbies. I would have become an MF Hussain if my parents thought that even drawing can be an aspect to push ahead in a career. So it's very important, Rajiv, that we speak to the child, which can engage with a lot of positive, optimistic, and belief that you can do something of your own. Somebody's perception is not your reality at all.
I know. I think you brought a very powerful point, Leela. I think that way our children are living in a world where there is enough and more opportunities. One, for them to choose. Two, parents are more open to allow them to pick the line that they want to. Unlike our days where it was only the doctors and CEOs and engineers, right? So there's also a generational element to it. That way they're very, very lucky. Like my son dances very well. He goes to dancing class. So I'm absolutely fine if he picks up choreography as a career and moves on into that line. I mean, that opportunity was given to you. As you rightly said, today you would not be sitting as a VP complex. You must have probably had an art gallery. You must have been an... Huh?
Yes.
How powerful this is. Thank you for that. I think this word called enough has very beautifully been articulated by the author here. And he says, how do you use this powerfully in your life? I think has a direct impact on the stillness in the head.
Absolutely.
How do you see this word enough and any 2 or 3 benefits that you have had in your life?
So, Rajiv, initially, when you're starting your career, you're working, you are working hard because that's the way you have to grow in your career.
You're aspirational.
Yes, and then you want to buy a house, you want to buy a car, you want to buy a bigger house, then you want to buy another car, then you want to buy another bigger house. And it doesn't stop. It doesn't stop. Agreed, doesn't stop at all, right? So that comes a point when you get tired.
Yeah.
You sit one day and you think, what have I achieved in life? Have I opened my window and taken that breath breath of fresh air into my life? When was the last time I went into a park? I have been working on my weekends. I've been working on my holidays. I take my family for vacation. I'm working there also because I think that's the way I need to grow in life. But I think enough is about knowing to balance between a lot of aspects of your life. I'm not talking about work-life balance. It's about what makes you that kick, what gives you that kick in your life. Because beyond a point, money, positions don't give you a kick in life anymore.
Yeah, I agree.
Beyond it, that you continue to look. And when you think that force, which is beyond yourself, is pulling you to do something, that is what drives your ambition. That is what. So it's not about saying stuff and sitting quietly, which means this person is not ambitious. This person may be content and happy. And if you're not happy, then what's that for life, Rajiv? So it's very important that you grow in life. You continue to do what you are doing. Absolutely no constraint. But do not take the load or do not take the baggage of achieving those ambitions into your life to an extent where you don't know how to carry it anymore.
I agree to what you're saying, Leela, but I have a counter question to this and help me understand.
Yes, absolutely.
So like everyone, I also had a dream house that I wanted. My wife had a dream house that she wanted. So we lived in multiple houses, and then we settled down in a house, which is the house that we currently live in, a beautiful condominium in Bangalore. So now we know in our head, and this is very relevant today. Thank you brought this. Is yesterday I was having a chat with one of our residents, and we were walking around in the evening, and on some conversation we were saying that I see this place that I'm living currently as my final house. I don't think I have any aspiration of going for another house or anything else. After this, the next destination is the closest graveyard. And I'm very clear about this. This 3 BHK that I have in a condominium, which all the facility that it has, is enough for me. I'm 42. Probably I've reached that level of comfort. Actually, और कुछ नहीं चाहिए. गाड़ी है, घर है, everything. How would a 35, 36-year-old boy or a girl do this? Because it's easy. You can say, I can say, जैसे आप तो बोल सके सर आप वहाँ तक पहुँच गए हो. हमको तो अभी time है. How do you train your head to do that? Okay, I don't think I did it when I was 35.
I'm 35, so sorry, I gave my age.
Then you're the right person to explain because I never did it when I was your age.
Okay, so I think Rajiv, some point in time. So as I said, you achieved. So I have worked hard. So it's not that it's come very easy to me. I come from a family. As I said, my background to you. So it's not been very easy for me. But some point in time, I was in one of those trips. Okay, so I was sitting alone at the shore of. I had been to Ganges. Rishikesh. I was sitting after the Ganga Aarti, I was sitting in the Ganges, and a gentleman comes near me and we introduce ourselves to each other. And he's saying, are you alone? I said, yeah, I've come alone all the way. He said, you don't have friends and family? I said, yeah, I have them back home. Then why are you alone? So I said, I am alone, not lonely. He said, but why are you still alone here? And I couldn't gauge that because there was a lot of sadness in my eyes when I was looking at the Ganges. Because it gives you, when the sun is setting and you're sitting in the Ganges, you feel slightly lonely that you have worked hard, come, and you're sitting here alone. You're not having party with your friends and all. So he said, what happened? So I said, no, I don't know, but I have done so much in my life. I'm tired. I still want to go ahead. It's not that I'm not an ambitious person. I have an ambition to become a group compliance head. Then I want to go and lead the Asia country head as a person. My ambitions have not slowed down, but why are you not happy? There is that contentment, the joy which I used to get when I used to fare first in my school or I used to get in medal. I used to be very happy inside out. And you could see in my eyes, but even after achieving so much in the career, you're sitting in the Ganges, sitting alone and with the sadness in your eyes.
Okay.
That's when he asked me, and that gave me a hand. And I said, yeah, I'm sad. I'm not feeling the joy because I have home, I have car, I have so many friends I can go and party with, but why am I here alone? So then that's when it triggered me that there's something missing in life. Something missing in life. So he said, what do you think so? So I said, I'm not understanding. So he said, okay, start counting by what things are not going right in your life. So I started counting, okay, 1, 2, 3, and after 5, 6, there was nothing else. Then he said, start counting start doing a gratitude listing. I could on and on and on. And that's when he said, see, God has given you so many things to be happy about. Just sad about the things that you don't have. That journey is not going to end in your life at all.
True.
It's very important that you be happy, you enjoy what you're doing as a phase. You have to work hard. Even today, when I am talking about this, I do work hard. Like I work for 10 to 12 hours a day.
Yeah.
But that doesn't stop you from being happy.
True.
So you have to enjoy that journey. The journey is very important, Rajiv, because at the time when you are focused on the price and not the journey. So me evolving as a person from a nutshell to whatever I am now today, the journey has been beautiful. So journey ahead also will be beautiful provided you enjoy it. Otherwise, there's no luxury. You going alone to an empty house doesn't make any difference because you enjoy that house, right? You like to go and sit in that corner, cuddled up in your sofa because you enjoy it. If you're not enjoying that house, a palatial place is also not going to help you. So it's very important that you bring that joy in your life also. It can be any way.
That's the message to the young leaders you're saying, that remain aspirational, remain ambitious, keep growing, fight for it, do everything, have the house, have the car, have the second house, have the second car, but do it along with the joy of doing it.
Yes, because the energy level when you do it with a lot of joy is very different from a person who is sad and not wanting to deliver on it. So when you are happy, you will see that when your maid is also happy, she tends to make a better food. So it's the same way in life also. When you're happy, you tend to deliver more. You deliver with a lot of joy. You take a lot of setbacks in your life with a lot of positivity.
True.
Growth also with a lot of positivity. So there has to be happiness in your eyes that whatever you're doing, whatever struggle you're going through in your life is with a lot of sense of contentment that you're doing something and with a sense of higher purpose.
Lovely.
So because if your goal is to just buy a house, after buying a house, you come to a roadblock where you don't know what to do next. So the next ambition the next stop cannot be a bigger house. A bigger house, bigger house. You cannot be shifting houses all your life.
Correct.
With a sense of purpose which is beyond you. So in your Rajiv, it can be you want to create more leaders. That is a sense of purpose.
Possible.
Of happiness, where in a group of 10, even 2 people come out of it and became good leaders, you feel happy, you feel a sense of proud about it. A sense of pride with respect to those people. That is what enough is all about. Enough is knowing when to stop for your greed and going beyond for it.
I completely agree. Completely agree. This is such a powerful point. Right. I just wish I had this clarity when I was 35. I probably would have done far better in life. But really, this is very interesting. This just tells you that, tells me that I'm talking to somebody who has worked on calming the mind and settling things in the head. And I'm sure this book has played that extra effort in making you that person, right? I think it's a great message you're giving, Leela, for a lot of young leaders listening to you and would listen to you, is to settle things as early as possible. Because unfortunately, the fire in the belly has become so much in this competitive world that they're just running helter-skelter to get that designation, get that salary, get that CTC, and hit the glass ceiling so early in life.
And not knowing what to do next.
Yeah, and I think my childhood was far more peaceful than what the current children are. And somewhere I sound very oldish. My son doesn't like me saying this, but it's a fact.
Yes, absolutely. I agree. Totally agree.
I think it's so important. Thank you. I think all of you guys, please go and pick up this book and read it. It's called Stillness is the Key. It's a powerful book that will help you to settle a lot of things in your head. Thank you, Leela, for doing this. I'm going to close this session with the last question. With all that experience that you have and such books that has really made the person you are, what are 2 laser sharp advices that you would want to give to the young minds who have still not found the stillness in their head?
Yeah. I would say, Rajiv, very important to a person's life is to build 2 to 3 good hobbies. Very important. Because I believe all the work, you take care of your house, you take care of your family, but that's one corner of your life, that me time, builds out a lot of personality in you. As young leaders also, for example, and it has to be a good hobby. For example, you cannot be listening to a music. Anybody can listen to a music or watch TV. That's not a hobby. Hobby should be something which brings out the other side of you. It can be painting, sculpting, gardening, trekking. Have those hobbies dissected into one which involves a physical activity, which can be gardening, going for hiking. Second can be which is reading or creating music, which stimulates your creative side. And the last should be something which is very intellectual. For example, you want to go for a quiz, you have some interesting conversations that you want to have. Have at least 2 to 3 good hobbies. It helps you build as a person. It's a very different. It gives a very different personal touch to whatever you do in your life, and do it as a part of your life. It becomes a hobby over a period of time, and you get better at both the side of your life. It's your because you can take a break from your professional and come back to your hobbies. So, for example, there's always a whirlwind of attention in your life. It's always oscillating. Your life cannot be like this. Human being, it will always be when you're all in and when you're all out. So when you're all in into your professional life, you have to be all in. When you come out, you cannot be hanging in between where you have had a bad day. You have to come out. And that coming out, the hobbies will act as an anchor.
Beautiful, beautiful. I love the way you said that.
So that's a very, very important aspect.
That's the first one.
Yes, this is the first one. The second I would say is contribute back to the society, Rajiv.
Yeah.
That is what adds richness to your life. Because as I said, enough, the concept enough is where I picked up, is when you know when you stop for a greed and when you ahead in life. So when you contribute back to the society, and contribution doesn't mean you have to become a very good philanthropist. It means helping your neighbors to do something. It can be helping children to do something, or going and visiting an old age home. Take out the time for giving back to the society.
And this, what that we're doing today, is also contributing back to society, right?
Absolutely.
You have so much on your plate. 45 minutes, 1 hour of today you've pulled out for doing this. Neither am I paying you money for it, nor you're earning anything commercially out of it. You're doing it because you would want to talk about the book and help certain young minds. Isn't this also contribution giving back?
Absolutely. Mentoring young people is very important. I'm saying that find your way, your comfortable way. Many people can't come out and speak in public. So you can have your own ways and means of contributing back to the society, but it adds a lot of richness to your life. As a leader, it's very important to live a rich life. It's not about living a very wealthy life. It's living a rich life as to have helped, even if the end of your life, you have touched 2 good lives and you have made something out of their life. So till today, I thank my teachers who have seen the goodness in me and brought me out of the nutshell. I still thank that person who met me on the Rishikesh Ganges and told me, look at the brighter side of life. I still thank that person because it touched me in my life. So I think it's very important, Rajiv, to live a rich life. You have to give back to the society, and that makes you see more and do more.
Correct. And if you bring it to the context of the book, these two things, if you practice, create a lot of stillness in the head.
Absolutely. Because it gives you a lot of sense of achievement in yourself. It's not about degrees and the medals that you have. It's about adding to other people's life also. You feel good within.
Lovely. Thank you so much. All the young minds, do not take it like a philosophy or a gyan being given by some guru or something. This is practical. Giving back to the society is something which is very, very simple. It's not about, okay, I am currently at a 20,000 rupees salary. Can I pull out 2,000 bucks and tear a check and give? That's not what she's talking about. It's in any form and format that you can do, as simple as it can be to help your neighbor or anything that she rightly said. So guys, get onto this as early as possible. I think that'll give you a lot of stillness and calmness as you reach the guest age, and you will not need to wait till you reach my age. So you do it earlier in life. So thank you so much, Leela, for doing this. It was a pleasure having a chat with you. I thoroughly enjoyed this 50 minutes conversation. I hope you had a good time.
Absolutely, Rajiv. Absolutely. The initially stages started with saying it started with the LinkedIn conversation. I think Mr. Paulo Coelho, when he said universe works, I think this is how universe works, where like-minded people meet and talk. And you have a lot of good leaders coming out, Rajiv. You're doing a very good job.
Thank you.
Be as fantastic as you are.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining this force of 40 leaders. It made tremendous sense. I look forward to see you soon, and I'm flying down to your city on work. That's going to happen as soon. That time I'll let you know and we'll catch up.
Sure, Rajiv. Thank you.
Then, take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.